You know, this campaign that we got, this is going to be a great thing. A lot of people say the polls show that they're not doing so great, but I'm going to tell you right now, this could be a grassroots effort. They're going to talk tonight about the possibilities how this can work. But I can tell you that if everybody here goes out and works at this, has your grandkids do the Twitter thing, whatever that is, and the Facebook stuff, and get this out, and get people to go out to vote, go to your neighbors, talk to them, work at getting this out to everybody, we can win this election. We can send Como back to wherever we need to go. I'd like to take and introduce Chris Moss. And I'll tell you, from everybody I've heard, this guy's got such a fantastic reputation. He's one of the best people we could ever have in Albany representing us. Chris?
Thank you. Good evening, thank you. First of all, when I pulled up and I walked in, I don't hear any applause, and I'm from a county away. Astorino pulls up and you guys go crazy. I'm like, wow, what's going on here? Well, first of all, we want to thank you for coming out tonight. I also want to point out, where's Asher Terwilliger at? Is he still here? My friend Asher Terwilliger, who's the president of the Chemung County Farm Bureau Association. I know he's very important. He's taught me a lot about the importance of natural gas exploration and what it could mean to farmers and landowners across New York State. I think I can tell you personally from being the sheriff in Chemung County for the past 9 years, what natural gas exploration meant to us 36 months ago as opposed to what's going on now. 2.5, 3 years ago, our hotels were full. Our airport was bustling. Our sales tax revenue was through the roof. And you might wonder, what does that matter to a sheriff? Well, what it matters to a sheriff is that means I get more deputies, I get more patrol cars and equipment when the county has that kind of money to spend. But as we waited and waited for Cuomo to make a decision, the drillers left. They went back to Ohio, they went back to Texas, they went back to where they came from, and we saw our sales tax revenue plummet. Yet right across the border, Bradford County, Tioga County, we're flourishing. It is important. We should be doing natural gas exploration all throughout upstate New York. Not only will it benefit the southern tier and upstate, it will help the state in the entirety. We're talking about tens of thousands of jobs. We're talking about tens of millions of dollars that could be infused into the economy. And more than that, I think it's important that we have a candidate that we've found who's from downstate, but truly understands the importance of what natural gas exploration could mean to upstate New York. He's concerned with upstate New York. He knows the economy is faltering here. He wants to work on that, and it gives me great pride, and I was obviously proud to accept when he offered me the lieutenant governor's nominee position for the Republican Party. So without further ado, let's give a warm welcome to the next governor of New York State, Rod Astorino.
Thank you, Sheriff. He is going to make an amazing lieutenant governor, Chris Moss. Now, wait a minute. I show up, and they leave? What is going on here? I was going to introduce my son to them. It's great to be here in Tioga. We've had a wonderful day. We started last night in Oswego. We were in Lewis County, and from there, northern Herkimer, and then we've driven down to Tioga here with a couple more stops on the way. But it's a great state. It really is a great state. And no matter where I go, I do see people and hear from people saying, you gotta help us, because we're getting ready to leave. And I won't let that. You know why? This is an amazing state that I was born and raised in. My son and my other two kids are born and raised, as my wife is, here in New York. We are purebred New Yorkers. And I'm sure many of you are too. And the last thing you want is to have to make that decision whether or not you can afford to stay here or whether there's any reason left to stay here. And as we start talking about how to create jobs in this state, and we're going to come out with a jobs plan real soon, like in a couple of days, but one thing that is undeniable, that will create many jobs in this state, not just here in the southern tier, throughout the entire state, is the natural gas industry. Because we are blessed to have natural gas in this state. And many of you are probably blessed to have natural gas on your property. And with all due respect to some of the fractivists, this is a state that needs to move forward on natural gas exploration to put people back to work, to bring revenue into this state, and to bring much needed energy to New York. Yeah. So we're going forward. You know, I've talked to a lot of governors in this country. One I respect very much, by the way, for his position on natural gas is Governor Hickenlooper of Colorado. Now, he's a Democrat, and he's a geologist by trade. And in Colorado, which is a very environmentally conscious state, he brought the environmental groups, the business groups, the oil and gas industry, and the politicians together and said, look, we have got to take advantage of this. It's safe. He knew it, and he had the courage to say so. And what do? They set up the proper regulations, and they move forward. So it's not just marijuana in Colorado, it's natural gas too. But here in New York, we are only one of 31 states that won't allow it. And you have a governor who is listening to Yoko Ono in New York City saying, don't do it. And yet, as the southern tier and upstate New York continues to decline, as people continue to leave this state for better opportunities, for hope, we have something that can turn us around. According to the DEC, it's 25,000 new jobs. According to the former Democratic Party chairman of New York, it's 200,000 jobs. I don't care what it is. It's progress. It's hope and it's opportunity. It's income. I talk about the tale of two Tiogas. Guess which one I'm talking about? One Tioga has natural gas and is exploring it. Cars are moving off the lot. Hotels are being built. Restaurants are full. People are going back to work. And then there's another Tioga that is not permitted by the state. And so this area is continuously in a decline, and it doesn't have to be that way. The U.S. Conference of Mayors came out a couple weeks ago, rated 363 cities in the United States, and their economic outlook going forward for a decade. Do you know what was 363? In other words, dead last out of all? Binghamton area. Do you know what was the second worst? Rome, Utica. In fact, 10 of the worst 20 cities in America are right here in New York. Now, Governor Cuomo will say, oh, things are great, oh, wonderful. Startup New York says so, right? It's great. But really, as I talk to people around this state, things aren't good. In fact, I liken living in New York now to a prison sentence because people count the days until they can leave. How many of you think this way, okay? A couple more years, you retire, and you are gone. The kids go off to college in a couple years, you're selling that house and you're moving. And why wouldn't you? I mean, that's a stark thing to say, but why wouldn't you?
Because nobody will buy the house.
Because nobody will buy the house. Let's make an offer. So where are these people going? These people, and we've had 400,000 New Yorkers in the last 3.5 years flee this state. And they're going to states that are open for business, truly open for business, that have lower taxes, that have an energy boom, like North Dakota. You know now 6 of the top 25 counties in America with income levels, highest income levels, are now from North Dakota. The second most richest, affluent counties in America is now in North Dakota because of the energy boom. And Binghamton could have been the Dallas of the Northeast. Who's to say it couldn't have? With all different types of jobs, all different types of skill levels, if we had only had the foresight to move forward. Well, I'm here to tell you that beginning in January, a Governor Astorino and a Lieutenant Governor Moss will begin the process in an expeditious way to move forward on natural gas exploration. We will do that. So I just wanted to say thank you for letting me come here. I want to say hi to everybody. I know Sheriff Moss wants to say hi to everybody. Senator O'Mara is with us tonight. Tom, thank you for all that you do. So, here's how you have to help. Okay, because here's the story that is being told. Astorino can't win. He's going up against Cuomo. Can't win, right? Cuomo has $33 million, wherever it is now, $35 million.
That's because he stole our taxes. Made our land right.
Speaking of taxes, by the way, speaking of taxes, here's a guy, Andrew Cuomo, that remodeled his home, thought the law doesn't apply to him, so he never took out building permits. Then they bragged about it in national magazines, all the work they did. Then they lied about it. When they got caught, they still wouldn't allow the assessor in to properly assess the property. And when he did assess it, and upped it 30% just on an exterior, not even allowed in the house, Cuomo did not contest it. So you know what? For the last 4 years, he has underpaid his taxes by $32,000. And he got away with that.
Well, he forecloses on us.
Yes. So while he's saying no to you to be able to pay your taxes, to stay in your homes, to have a good job, doesn't matter to him. He'll get away with anything he can. So I'll have a message for Cuomo, and so should you. It's better that you start working on your resume now, because you're going to need to start sending it out at the end of the year. So here's the story. I just want to tell you the story, and then we want to walk around and say hello to everybody. So in 2009, Westchester County is 2-to-1 Democrat. 49% Democrat, 24% Republican. It's the fourth most diverse county in all of New York. And when I was running against the incumbent, a popular incumbent, who outspent me 5-to-1, $5.5 million to a little over $1 million for me, who had Republicans raising money for him, who had the unions, who had everything, except we had the right message. The issues were on our side. We raised enough money to get our message out. The political climate was right. And the 30-point deficit that I had in the summer of '09 against the machine, we outworked them. We had the army of people on our side, and we won by 13 points in deep blue Westchester with the Clintons going up against us. Huh. So, don't you dare let anyone tell you, especially in this political climate, with a majority of New Yorkers saying we're going in the wrong direction as a state, with Cuomo's job approval in the mid-40s, which is terrible for an incumbent governor 3 months before an election, with a ticket like Astorino and Moss, your neighbor, we're ready to win this. But you know what? He's going to beat us on the air war. You're going to see his disgusting TV ads every day, every minute. But you know what? It's the ground game that wins this race. And you are the troops. If you start knocking on doors, if you make calls, if you register people to vote and you get them out to vote, we will win this race. And we will say goodbye to the SAFE Act. We'll say goodbye to Common Core. We will scrap Common Core, and we will give you your rights back. So, let's win this race. Thank you so much for coming tonight. I really appreciate it.